Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you a question. Is there an expected period of time that you are supposed to wait on someone, right? Is there an expected period of time that you are supposed to wait on someone for them to get their act together so that you could actually have a good relationship with them, a productive relationship with that person? All right. Are you supposed to wait a certain time? Well, I'm going to give you my answer. All right. I don't think there is a standard time. I don't think there's a standard time. I know some people might have different suggestions of how long they would wait and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I said, let me ask you the question. So obviously, please put in your comments and let me know what you think. How long would you wait? But I don't think that there is a standard time that you are expected to wait on someone to be able to get themselves together, to get their act together, to be able to then pursue a good relationship with them, a productive or fruitful, hopefully, productive and fruitful relationship with that person. That being said, it does take time to get to know people, right? You have to give yourself, I believe, you have to give yourself enough time to actually get to know who someone is. And the other interesting thing is, and I don't think a lot of times we think about it, but not everybody reveals personal information at the same rate or opens up about different aspects of their life at the same rate as a lot of people do, right? And that might be for different reasons. If you have been hurt in the past, if you have been used or abused, or whatever the circumstance is, you might be somewhat hesitant to open up to someone as you are attempting to move beyond your pain, move beyond, what caused you heartache. So you might be somewhat reluctant. So it might take a while for you to open up in the form, in the shape, in the way that someone would like you to, as they're trying to make a decision on whether or not they would like to pursue a relationship with you, right? So that is, I think it's acceptable to know that not everyone reveals the same amount of information at the same time. And sometimes you've got to give yourself an opportunity to get to know someone. Okay, that being said, we've established that. However, however, you can't sit back and, well, first of all, let me say this. You have to be able to identify when someone is, perhaps it's just they're moving slowly, it's that they're being cautious, and it's that they genuinely seem to want to get to know you, and maybe it's their pace is not as fast as yours, right? So you have to be able to identify that. The reason why is you have to be able to separate it from the people who are just leading you on and on and on, and they have absolutely no intention of ever really committing, right? Because they are getting what they want without having to make an actual commitment. They don't have to actually make a commitment. I've had friends and family members who have been in that particular type of situation where they're waiting for somebody to get their act together, and the person never got their act together, right? And what happens is you end up living your life. You end up living your life waiting for a commitment or waiting for something to happen that absolutely never comes your way. And what some people are able to do is they're very clever. What they do is they know how to give you a little bit here and a little bit there and make it seem like they're moving trending in a direction, right? A lot of people have been in this situation. I think a lot of women specifically have been in this situation, right? Men fall victim to this too, but unfortunately, a lot of times, a lot of women have been in this situation where the guy is giving you just enough, the right things at the right time, often enough, but not always, but just often enough to give you hope that someday, somehow, that there is going to actually be a benefit to you just being, just there waiting for something to happen. Let me tell you, as I've said earlier, I agree that you have to give people a certain amount of time to figure out themselves and maybe what they want to do and all that. But if you dragging on something for years and years, you're wasting your time, right? I think a lot of people make that decision in a short space of time, maybe a couple of years. Let's be generous and give somebody a year or two or three or whatever the case is to kind of make up their mind. But after a while, you are just being dragged on. And what a lot of people do, especially a lot of women do, is they make themselves absolutely convenient. They make themselves convenient. And so you become more of a convenience than a lover. And because the person realizes they can get away with having you as a convenience, then you're never going to become a lover. Because you provide everything conveniently to them without them ever having to make any type of serious commitment. So, why not just take advantage of the situation that you find yourself in, right? They were perhaps never willing to commit, and at the point when they decided, and they never tell you anything out front. They never tell you anything out front a lot of times because they enjoy the convenience that is provided to them. So a lot of times they never tell you anything out front or up front, however you want to phrase it. Or when they've realized, I think it is one thing to be a man or a woman and say, you know what, I've come to the point in this relationship, if you want to call it that I don't want to continue with it anymore. Than to string someone along for however long, right? Dangling a candy in front of them, knowing that the person actually likes you. People do this. And a lot of men do this. And so this is something that women have to be really careful of. Dangling enough candy so that you could think, okay, well, yeah, maybe things are going to get sweeter. Things are going to get better. But what in fact is, you've made yourself a convenience. And the person has accepted you as a convenience because they know you really care for them. And so you're never going to be a lover. You're only going to be a convenience. And then once you become a convenience, then that is it. Then a lot of people know, you would hear people say, well, I've wasted 5 years or 10 years or whatever. That's too long. That's too long waiting. I think it's too long. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. But I think that's too long. You waiting for someone to I'm sorry. That's too long. Right? 5, 10 years, you waiting for somebody to get themselves together. You're wasting your life. You should not be waiting for someone to get their act together for that long. And as I said, men do it too. Men wait too. But a lot of times it's women who fall guilty of this. Right? There comes a point in a relationship. You've been talking to somebody for 3, 4, 5 years where you have to really say, there's a famous question, where are we going with this? Right? You've got to ask that. All right? What is the end goal here? Right? What is the end goal here? Are we just friends and sex buddies? Or is this actually going to turn out to be something that is more meaningful than I coming over or you coming over or whatever the situation? Is it going to be more than a convenient regular hookup with someone that I know? Is this going to be something more meaningful, like an actual relationship? And let me tell you, for a woman, you put a lot of men in that situation, and they're gonna take advantage of it every single time. Men are gonna take advantage of that situation every single time. Because if they can get what they want without actually having to make a commitment. But what I've realized too with a lot of people in this situation is they don't value themselves enough, right? They don't really appreciate their self-worth or understand their self-worth. So because they have somewhat devalued themselves, because let me tell you why you've devalued yourself. You've devalued yourself because you're waiting for one person to prop you up, to make you happy. That's how you know that you have devalued yourself. You have devalued yourself because you have now put yourself in a situation where you feel like only one person, one woman or one man or whatever the situation is, right? Whoever you're dating, you've now gotten to that conclusion to where it's only one person could make you happy. And anytime you've done that, you have devalued yourself. You have told yourself now that there's no happiness that can exist for me in this world if I am not with you. You have empowered somebody way beyond what they should have. And so it's a matter of self-worth, right? And really recognizing what you're truly worth, not depending on one person to bring you happiness. Or that's because that's why they do it. That's why they let you wait 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years and more, or whatever the situation is, because they realize they've got you like that. And a lot of times when you find yourself in that situation, some women are embarrassed. So now they start pretending like they're actually in a relationship because they don't want people to know that they're not, that it's really not as good as it's looking on the outside. So that's why I'm saying, check out my other videos. I have a video where I talk about this where you can't let shame or embarrassment keep you back from growing, right? You can't let shame or embarrassment keep you back from growing because everybody's messed up. Everybody's done something. Nobody's perfect. But if you sit there and you hide in your shame and then you're never going to grow. You're never going to grow, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about today, right? Let me know what you all think in the comments. Is there a time you should wait for someone? Is there a standard time? I think after a while you've got to make that decision that I have been waiting long enough. Do not devalue yourself, right? Especially for women. Do not devalue yourself and let some man string you along, or woman, whoever you date. Don't let somebody string you along for just, like it's going on forever, right? And you're not seeing any real momentum. There's no commitment, right? There's no commitment, right? There's none in sight. So let me know what you think, right? Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications because I post pretty much every single day. Also, please do not forget to share and hit the like button. Doing those two things help the channel grow, and I would really appreciate it if you do that. All right, so drop your comments. I would love to see your comments and respond to them as well. And until next time, be good. Peace.